Alpha Dual Disc, Automatic, Grinder, and Polisher. 1. Connect water and electricity supplies. Connect the power cord to the upper right corner of the back of the device. With a voltage requirement of 220 volts, connect the air source and quickly plug the 6 mm outer diameter air pipe into the pressure gauge. You can also adjust the barometer to control the pressure. The minimum standard needs to reach 0.6 megapascals for normal use. Connect the water circuit and tighten the connection between the 8 mm outer diameter water inlet pipe and the 1/2 inch female thread adapter. Put the white silicone ring into the quick connect fitting and then tighten it with the 4-inch male thread valve of the equipment. Cooling water can be connected to piped tap water with a pressure requirement of 0.1 megapascals. 0. Trace. EMEPIA. The other end, with a 1/4 inch female thread quick connector, is connected to the faucet. For faucets of other specifications and models, adapters need to be prepared in advance. Then connect the drainage pipe with an outer diameter of 32 mm to the equipment's drainage outlet and reinforce it with a clamp. There is an optional dropper connection port at the bottom right corner. There is a device power button directly in front of the device. Red indicates that the device is powered off, and green indicates that the device is powered on. There is an emergency stop button above. Pressing it will bring the equipment to an emergency stop, and rotating it to the right will restore its state. 2. Control and fixation of polishing head. When the polishing head moves to the left, it will automatically recognize and control the left chassis. The small screen on the base automatically recognizes and controls the right chassis. When the grinding and polishing head moves to the right, the small screen automatically switches and controls the left chassis. Implement the dual disc and dual control function, where the rotational speed and operating status of the two discs do not interfere with each other. When the polishing head moves to the appropriate position, it needs to be locked before it can operate. The handle needs to be locked when its fan-shaped area is pointed at the upper screw. Otherwise, the system will still prompt that it is not locked. When the handle is in a position where it is inconvenient to rotate, you can pull it outwards to adjust the angle. After the polishing head is locked, the lifting and lowering of the clamping disc requires two-handed operation. Press and hold the buttons on both sides of the polishing head with both hands for 3 seconds, and the clamping plate will automatically lower or rise. 3. Screen introduction. The small screen on the base controls the manual grinding and polishing disc. When the polishing head moves to the left, it automatically identifies and controls the right chassis. There are R and a blinking arrow on the right side of the screen. This is stepless speed regulation. Manually input the required rotational speed, which can be adjusted within the range of 50 to 600 revolutions. Here shows the duration of operation at the current rotational speed. There are 3 commonly used speed settings: low, medium, and high on the right side. The factory default settings are 200 revolutions per minute for low speed, 400 revolutions per minute for medium speed, and 600 revolutions per minute for high speed. You can also double-click to customize and modify the rotation speed. The progress bar above can also be slid left and right to adjust the speed. This manually controls the cooling water. Turning it on and off requires manual clicking for control. The above is the automatic control of cooling water. When turned on, the water outlet mode is controlled according to the operating state of the chassis. Water flows out when the chassis is running and stops flowing out when it is stationary. The 2 on the right are the start and stop buttons. When the grinding and polishing head moves to the right grinding disc, the letter L is displayed on the left side of the screen, and the arrow is flashing, indicating that the left chassis is currently being controlled. Adjust the rotation speed of the left disc and start and stop its operation. Now, let's explain the screen interface of the polishing head. This is the main interface, displaying the current product model and name. The 4 buttons below are respectively Administrator and Operator Interface, Manual Mode Interface, Parameter Setting Interface, Program Library Interface. In the Administrator interface, operators can be selected to use sample preparation programs, and the parameters within the programs can be modified. However, the operator can only start or stop the equipment and has no right to modify the sample preparation parameters inside. This function is suitable for assembly line operations, and it is rarely used in general laboratories. Manual mode interface. This interface is the most commonly used one, and the sample preparation parameters can be modified and adjusted at any time. These two are options for loading methods. The left one is single-point loading. Single-point loading means that 6 small air columns descend simultaneously to apply pressure to the sample. When a pressure of 2 n is set, each sample is subjected to a pressure of 2 n. This is the clamping disc used for single-point loading. Central loading means that the main shaft descends as a whole to apply pressure to the sample. When the pressure is set to 120 n, if 6 samples are placed, each sample will receive a pressure of 20 n. This is the clamping disc used for center loading. This is the setting for the rotation speed of the clamping disc, with a range of 20 to 150. The commonly used rotational speed is between 50 to 100. This is the chassis speed setting, with a range of 50 to 600. The commonly used rotational speed is between 150 and 300. The following is the setting for the single runtime, with a range of 0.9999 seconds. This is the dishwashing function. After clicking, the cooling water is automatically turned on, and at the same time, the chassis rotates rapidly to clean the grinding debris on the chassis thoroughly. This button is for manually turning on or off the drip system. You can set 1 group of drips or 2 groups of drips to proceed simultaneously. The dropper is optional. Detailed usage instructions can be found in the ADS for dropper usage steps, which will not be repeated here. This is co-rotation. The clamping disc and the base disc rotate in the same direction. Next to it is reverse rotation, where the clamping disc and the base plate rotate in opposite directions. This is the pressure setting button. Central loading pressure range 20360 n. Single point loading pressure 560 n. This is a specific quantitative grinding value setting for central loading. Single measurement range 0.1 to 20 m. Measurement accuracy 0.1 毫米. This is a button for manually turning on or off the cooling water on one side of the grinding and polishing head. Next to it is the chassis drying function, which rotates rapidly for 5 seconds to dry the accumulated water in the tray. This is the 180 rotation function of the clamping plate, which facilitates taking or placing samples. Next to it is the 180 rotation function of the chassis, which facilitates taking samples from the inner side of the chassis. The two at the bottom right are the device's run and stop buttons. The above shows the current running time, as well as the preset values and actual values of the quantitative functions. Return to the main interface. Then we click on the settings interface, where we can select the language mode, set the administrator password, and automatically lubricate before the start of each step. Program library interface, which contains 20 sets of commonly used sample preparation parameters available for use. Select a program, and you can directly import it into Operator 1 or Operator 2 for use. Clicking Edit also allows you to view or modify the sample preparation parameters in the program. 4. Basic usage of double discs. Automatic grinding is done using the left disc, and we place the samples in sequence. After setting the grinding parameters, start the equipment, turn on the cooling water, and perform automatic grinding treatment on the sample. The disc on the right is controlled via a small screen, used for manual grinding, polishing, chamfering, and other pre-processing steps on samples. 2 discs run simultaneously without interfering with each other, greatly shortening the sample time. 5. Maintenance and upkeep. During the polishing process, the polishing liquid tends to remain around the inner wall of the chassis. If not cleaned for a long time, it is easy to form lumps and block the sewer pipe. Our faucet is pluggable, and after polishing, the inside of the tray can be thoroughly rinsed. The grinding chassis features a conical design, and the 200mm, 250毫米, and 300mm diameter chassis can be installed and disassembled more quickly. In addition, it is equipped with a transparent anti-fouling inner lining, making cleaning and maintenance work more efficient. If you still have any questions about our products, you can contact our after-sales engineers at any time.
Trojan. Discover the truth of material.